Hey everybody, Icy Cat here. This is the next part in our map walkthrough series for the Season 4 map Skyscraper. Previously we broke down all the trapdoor and camera locations, but this time we're going to talk about some sneaky spots for some great murder holes, whether you're on offense or defense. Now if you want to get the drop on some unsuspecting targets, then stick around and see how. Okay, our first door is going to be the one in the corner of the house lobby on the first floor. This is where they'll come in from that spawn position if they start back behind the exterior tower. And if you want to watch that door, come on up here. We'll start at the base of this weapon display case. Just go ahead and shoot out a few bits of the floor, and you can get a pretty good line of sight on that. Then you can drop prone, although your legs will kind of get in the way. So what you can do is actually go ahead and take out that wall behind you, make a little bit more room for yourself, and then when you drop down, your feet will no longer be in the way of your field of view. And this will give you a pretty good line of sight on that door as they come through. And you can get them as they come in, and hopefully you'll stop any push that they might make there. Now there's another door just off of those same stairs. This is in the house entrance, and we're just going to double back up here on top of the stairs, and there's a really great sight line that we can get. Come over by these potted plants down on the ground, same thing. These are all going to have very similar approaches to them, so we're just going to hit the floor here, make a few little holes, and I mean right there is that door. Get a little bit more of a wider field of view on that. There's also a window just to the side of that, so you can kind of watch that area too, and they're not going to be expecting you to hit them from above from this position. It has a perfect line of sight for that door directly across from you, and you can really mow them down when they come through there. One of the objectives tends to be in the bathroom and bedroom area. One thing you can count on is that there will probably be somebody in this little jacuzzi pool. You'll see this a lot back on the chalet map too. Somebody will be in here, they'll get kind of half cover, they can watch the window. Maybe this is a spot where they go so they can be on their camera and stay protected. Well, if you want to dig somebody out that's in that spot, come to this top hallway, right back in the corner by the potted plants, shoot straight down, and that is that jacuzzi right beneath you. So you'll be able to hit them if they're just laying in there. If they're on a camera, maybe you'll catch them literally napping. Okay, now let's go over to the other side of the building. This is the first floor kitchen. So we've got things in here like this window that we can keep an eye on, this wall. Although we can reinforce it, people will tend to cut through that wall pretty frequently. And so there's a lot of little angles to cover. You've got this trapdoor up above and some things that you can worry about there for offense or defense. Additionally, you've got this little section back behind the bar. This connects with the back of the kitchen. So very frequently you might have somebody here peeking out. Maybe they're watching this bathroom and being ready for anybody. So if you're an attacker and you're trying to assault these rooms, maybe doing it from head on isn't the way to go. Coming up from above, if you're in the drum room, that's what I call this, there's just a big drum in here, and you shoot right down at the corner of the base of this, that's that door that we were just looking in, right at the back of the bar. So if somebody's looking through that doorway, you're going to get the drop on them. Or if they're behind the bar and tucked in a little closer, you can shoot straight down and get them there. If they're a little deeper behind the bar, just come over to the other side and make a hole on that end. Now looking into the main kitchen itself, if you actually come up into the room above it, this is the geisha room, and we've got a trapdoor here, and we can get some good angles in here. I mean, this works, but what do you do if this is reinforced? So, maybe you've got a guy dug up in the corner here and you want to get him out. Or maybe you want to come up here as a defender and keep line of sight on that window. Well, you got to worry about that oven hood that's there. So make sure that you shoot in a steep angle over that. Just come right in the corner here, right at the base of this couch, and shoot out a few pieces of the floor. So this will allow you to get a good line of sight on the window if you're a defender and you want to keep an eye on that they're not expecting. Or if you're an attacker, there might be a defender holed up in that corner and you can dig them out using this angle. A really good one to use as a defender, so if you're going to come up here, they're often going to come through this wall. Even if you've got it reinforced, they'll typically cut through it. So go ahead and make a hole in the floor here. I'm going to use an impact grenade to do so. And then you're right above it and you can look straight down into it. Now, unfortunately, the cross beams are kind of working against us here because the orientation doesn't really line up right, so we have to be almost directly above it. These cross beams go horizontally, and this is not the alignment we want to have. But still, when they breach that wall, you can get the drop on them. So we've got a couple other corners in the kitchen, and if we want to get a good line on those, we can come back here and see where this mat is kind of folded over. If we come just to the bottom of that and start making some holes in the floor, this will allow us to see deep into that corner. And that's a corner where typically a defender will be watching the window from while being protected from the other side. So that's a good spot. You can also rotate around to the other end and see if they're in that other corner. So we've got this window at the bottom of the stairs. This is right outside the barbecue room. And we'll also see a strong push that frequently comes through the first floor bathroom. This is one of the first windows that will appear if you come in through the exterior helipad. They'll come in here, they'll make a push, get maybe line of sight on that back room, whatever it might be. So how do we deal with some of these things? Well, let's come up. If you're a defender, you're going to want to come into the karaoke room here. we'll go ahead and just throw an impact grenade here and open up a nice hole into the back corner. And you can see we can look more or less straight down and see that window. The direction of the cross beams isn't really working in our favor, but it's still good enough to be able to get that line of sight when they hop through, or even kind of inverted as they make the push on the door. We've also opened up a little bit of a hole there so you can see the stairs, which is also another really good vantage point to watch. Also, we were talking about the first floor bathroom. So a real great way to do this is open up this section right at the top of the stairs, use an impact grenade, shotgun, whatever you have. And as they try to vault in through the window, you can pick them off literally one by one from above, and they will have no idea where it's coming from. So what if you're trying to control these upper rooms instead, rather than worrying about the ones below you? Well, we've got some really sneaky spots in here. One thing I like to use, if you're defending, so we've got the karaoke room here and we've got the tea room over here, these will frequently get assaulted from down at the end of that hallway. And something we can do is use the structure of this rice paper room to our advantage. So we've got these black or dark brown strips in here. And what I like to do is fire in a couple of holes and just sort of make like a cross shape in here to take advantage of the design and the pattern that we have on this wall. And I can see through there pretty well. That's the end of that hallway that I was just standing in a minute ago. Let's go around and just kind of see what this looks like from the other side. And you'll see that it is actually more or less invisible when you're coming up from that end. You have to know to look for it. Otherwise, you are just going to miss it. So check this out. We'll get to the end here, turn around. We're coming through this door. I mean, that is so easy to miss that murder hole. You really can't see it unless you look directly at it. And even then, it's hard to tell if there's anybody behind there or not. Now, you do have a narrow field of view, so you have to be careful of that. But that's why we spread out kind of like, 4 of these holes so that we can see more of a distinct pattern of what's happening on the other side. Now we can do the same thing looking down the other hallway. So again, we're just going to make one in the center and just sort of make like this cross shape so we can see a little bit more of just kind of a field of view rather than a single hole would give us. And in doing so, we can see at the end of this hall, whether they come from the doorway on the right or the stairs on the left, and not quite getting the best view on the stair on the left there, but you get the point. If they're in that hallway, you're going to see them. And you can shift around a little bit and get some different angles on that, depending on which side of the hallway they're pushing up on. So let's go around and just kind of see what that looks like down the end of this hall. This one is actually even more invisible than the other one just due to the distance involved. You can see here our bullet holes from when we shot through. But down at the end of this hall, I mean, I can't see that at all. You have to be pretty much right on top of it and know where to look before you can even find that thing. And these are really easy to make. They don't reveal your position. They don't give you away. They're not the best view. I don't know, maybe we should make another hole here and just kind of give ourselves just a little bit more field of view so we can see those stairs. Again, it doesn't matter if we take out the chunk on this side of the wall, as long as on the other side we don't reveal ourselves. And even making one more hole, we just can't see anything. One more down in the kitchen area here, we've got this main hallway that comes off the front entrance. And one thing I kind of like to do sometimes is maybe I'll hit the side of a wall where it's unbreakable and just kind of allow some of the pellets to spill over and create like a half hole. And this way I can keep an eye on those front doors, and if anybody comes through there, I'll have a pretty good shot on them. This is that same door we actually started with here, but if you want a different take on that, if this is not an objective room, you can afford to do this, go ahead and just make that same cross shape we were talking about before. So, or even put a few of them in a row, doesn't matter really. We're just going to want to keep an eye on that door, and if anybody comes through there, we'll be able to see it. I like to put some vertically and some horizontally to kind of give myself a little bit more distinction to work with so it's not too narrow. But if they break through that door, you'll be able to see them. Now, this wall over here is really important because the defenders can't actually reinforce it. There's stuff in the way. But on the offensive push, you can maybe come through that window. Any of these sections of the yellow wall here, you can break through these, and they couldn't reinforce them on their side because of the furniture in the way. And you can come over, like this is a good one because this shows right into the corner of the room. And, you might get a good line on somebody that's hiding back in that corner. You can even come over into the middle wall here and this mirror. Yep, go ahead and break that out and see right into the room. This is a great spot. They can't reinforce that wall. The last spot we're going to cover today is kind of a cheeky one. So this is actually sort of a reverse angle. This is if the attackers are making a push on, this is the back of the tea room. We've got the window on this side, or over here is the door. This is the top of the stairs. So, maybe they're trying to peek in through here or do whatever. And if they're piled up in this little wooden balcony, you can actually do something really sneaky. Again, this is if your objective is going to be on that other side over in the tea room and karaoke room. But if you're a defender, come on over to this wall here, and we're just going to do this with sledge because it's fast and easy, but make a hole in the wall, shotgun or whatever you want, and you can look right onto that deck where they just were standing. So right over here, right behind this area is where that door was. This is where that window was, and they're going to be a little bit further back from that. They're going to be on the sides of it or a little further back so they don't get shot right away. So you should have a great line of sight on anybody that's trying to make a push on that window or that door. So those are some of my favorite spots to make murder holes on the new Skyscraper map. Now there's always going to be more that you can make in other spots. It depends on what angles you want to hit. This is by no means a comprehensive list of every possible murder hole you can make, but it does show some really great ways to either defend an objective area or to assault it in ways that they're not expecting. Later on in the week, I'll be doing other videos to continue the map walkthrough series. We'll also be breaking down the premium content like the Elite Operator uniforms. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news, tips, tricks, reviews, walkthroughs, and more for Rainbow Six Siege, please like and subscribe. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.